Hi, welcome to my first English introduction to Impact Investing News. Because half of my LinkedIn group members are actually non-Dutch, I thought I would open up the content of the blog, because most of the articles and reports that I review are actually in English, so maybe you don't want to miss out on those. The focus of this blog is actually very much on philanthropic impact investing, because I found this really interesting guide, The Essentials of Impact Investing for Small Staffed Foundations. It's published by Mission Markets, and Mission Markets is actually an online investment platform, but also a community for American charities. And the guide is actually 162 pages, but it's really very elaborate. It is a step-by-step approach to introducing impact investing, exploring the possibilities for your organization, and it also has about 24 investment cases, which, because they are American charities, are often program-related investments. But I all found it very interesting. I checked out the IRS reports of these charities as well to see what they are doing. In total, of the 24 charities, 5 actually are 100% impact investors, or they are going there, and together they have 500 million US dollars. So that is very promising. The guide is, of course, aiming at small staff foundation, and Mission Markets claims that 1 in 10 American small staff foundations is actually already an impact investor, which of course is great news, but also it surprised me, because being Dutch, in the Netherlands, the whole sustainable investment evolving into impact investing movement was on the fundraising side of the sector, started by very large foundations. Now these small foundations do great things. One that really struck me as a former charity fundraiser was the investment of about 250,000 US dollars. Tony Wells Foundation has a program-related investment for the Down community in the United States, which means it's approved by the IRS. And the investment is targeted at upscaling the fundraising capabilities of the Down communities by 3.3, which of course is great impact, because if you have more budget, you're going to have more impact. So I do recommend the guide. You can find it online, The Essentials of Impact Investing for Small Foundations. Another guide, but very compact, only 8 pages, is published by The Impact, and The Impact is started by Abigail Nobles, and she was the World Economic Forum director for the Impact Investing Initiative 2012-2015. It has a very interesting matrix for impact theme focus. It's quite wide. It starts with socially responsible investing, and then it goes into ESG integrated. But it also has the piece that Brian Trelstad introduced in the Harvard Business Review last month, impact focus as in place, product, process, paradigm. The matrix is on page 5. I do recommend it, absolutely. Then this blog has some interesting numbers. The Climate Bond Initiative introduced their 2015 roundup. They are happy to say that the market grew. The United States is champion with 10 billion US dollar green bonds emissions, of which many were issued by great cities, municipal bonds, which of course is very inspiring. We haven't seen those in the Netherlands. My country is actually European champion with 4.1 US dollar green bonds. And we are growing rapidly. And then Europe also saw some new entries to the green bond arena: Denmark and Estonia and Lithuania, if I'm correct. Check the blog. Interesting news also on the social impact bond market for the Netherlands is the fact that our first social impact bond for the city of Rotterdam has done really, really well. First results show that about 60% of the young unemployed have either found a job through the social entrepreneur working with them, or they're going back to school, or they are starting their own business. So the City of Rotterdam and Business Club have now decided to start a second social impact bond, which of course is great news. The International Red Cross and the Belgian Red Cross have launched the plan for a humanitarian impact bond, a huge one, 28 billion euros, and it is to finance the Red Cross activities for rehabilitation in conflict areas. Apparently it's hard to start their work there ASAP because of financing. So with the pre-financing by private organizations, they want to use all the experience that they have with rehabilitation and build rehabilitation centers and staff them with people that they have rehabilitated. So that sounds like a wonderful, wonderful win-win situation. Last article I reviewed was the Impact Illusion. It is promoted by Lauri Lane Zucker in his LinkedIn group Impact Entrepreneurs, and he calls it a feisty article because the writer, who was a chairman for the Social Enterprise Association in the US, he is warning for too much interest in impact investment by greedy capitalists, institutional investors. And he is warning people that the B-Lab Benefit Corporation status, which is a legal entity in 31 US states already, does say something about the not putting shareholders' interest before impact, but it's not a guarantee that impact is being put before shareholders' interests. And he is also advocating that non-profits and charities can apply for benefit corporation status, so that they can also get investments to upscale their activities, which is always great. Now his focus on institutional investors for me seems a bit far off. I was more intrigued by an article by David Banks, which Impact Alpha, which was also published on Huffington Post, where he points at a new report by McKinsey Foundation and Credit Suisse about the potential of the nature conservation bonds, 200 to 400 billion US dollars. I think that's great news. Very interesting for institutional investors. I recalled the article I wrote in my blog in December about the UN plan to attract private capital for land rehabilitation, for food production, which is of course income for small landowners, which of course is food for a growing world population. And also this restored land has a very positive effect on climate change, slowing it down. So I hope that this movement to promote land conservation financing is picking up speed and getting great institutional investor interest ASAP. That's it for this week. I hope you find the blog interesting. And otherwise, do let me know what subjects you would like me to dive into and blog about. Thank you.